Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Welcome to another episode of RetroGrade, the show where I quickly review various games for retro systems. This week I am going to be taking a look at a bit of a hidden gem, Mercenary Force on the original Game Boy. It was released in 1990 by a company called Meldak, which was more well known as a jazz record label, although they did release a few other games including the cult classic Zombie Nation for the NES, which has picked up quite a following over the years and now goes for quite a steep price. Developer duties were handled by Lenar, who made very little else of note except for a rather badly received action RPG named Deadly Towers for the NES. They had some help from Live Planning, who were rather more successful and managed to survive into the PS2 era under the name Kaze. When I first heard the name Mercenary Force, I imagined a modern military action game similar to something like Contra or Metal Slug, so I was rather surprised to discover that the game is very much rooted in Japanese history, being set in the Edo era. It is still very much a shoot 'em up, though your characters will be using shuriken, arrows, rifle bullets and magic rather than AK-47s and rocket launchers. As you start a new game, you are given a pool of money to begin with to hire up to 4 different types of warrior from a choice of 5. At the low end you have the peasants, then in the middle you have the samurai and ninja, followed by the most expensive classes in the monk and the priestess. If you wanted, you could have a party consisting of just ninjas. It's entirely up to you as long as you have the cash to cover the cost, though it may be advisable to bring at least one monk or priestess along to help you reach the more trickily placed adversaries. With your party locked in, you then set off to do battle against the rival warriors. The game scrolls from left to right at a fixed pace, and you can switch between several different formations at the press of a button. One of you sees your band form a straight line, which is handy for avoiding enemy fire or squeezing through tight passageways. Another formation may see you in a vertical line rather than horizontal, giving you a wall of firepower to quickly eliminate your enemies. Most of the enemies drop coins that have to be scooped up rather quickly before they disappear, and your stock of money is most important. Not only are there shops that sell food which will increase your hit points, they also allow you to upgrade one of your lesser classes to the monk class mid-stage. In between the stages you can hire replacement mercenaries for any that are completely wiped out. This is how you avoid a game over screen. Mercenary Force is no walk in the park either. You should be able to clear the first couple of stages without much trouble after a few attempts, but the difficulty curve soon ramps up after that. The game is never unfair though, and performs admirably most of the time with very little flicker or slowdown to contest with. The quickly disappearing money will keep you on your toes at all times, because you really need to try and collect it to stand a chance of getting all the way to the end of the game. But making a dash for it will often put you at the risk of taking damage. Each level ends with a boss fight, and as the stages progress, the fairly normal soldiers are replaced by mythical beasties such as giant frogs, dragons and skeletons. Given that Mercenary Force was released fairly early in the lifespan of the Game Boy, it is remarkable how solidly put together it is really. There weren't many third-party games that were as polished as this one knocking around in 1990. Most of the time we had to look to Nintendo for the quality releases. Meldak, Lenar and Live Planning have produced a fun little arcade title for the system though, and I have no problem recommending it to any Game Boy fans out there, either through emulation or on a physical cartridge. I would award it a score of 4 shuriken out of 5. That just brings us to the price and availability. Taking a look at Amazon UK, there are a number of used copies going for about £10 including postage, and just one complete in the box copy going for £28 including postage. Looking at eBay UK, loose copies have sold from between £3 and £10 recently, and box copies have sold for between £18 and £30. So if you're patient and shop around a bit, you should be able to score a copy fairly cheaply. It doesn't look like the game was ever released on the Virtual Console for the Wii, Wii U or 3DS though, so you may have to just download a ROM if you want to emulate it. So there you have it. Mercenary Force comes highly recommended if you want a high quality shooter to enjoy on your original Game Boy. I know new episodes of RetroGrade have been a bit thin on the ground since I made the first couple a while ago, so I'm going to do my best to remedy that over the coming weeks and months. Next week though, we have our regularly scheduled episode of Cover Tape Chaos, which is now up to Power Pack 29, so I'll see you again for that. In the meantime, take care.